I feel like I've said the word readathon so many times it's just lost all meaning. Hi guys, it's Justine here from I Should Read That, and today I'm going to do my O.W.L.s Readathon TBR. So you may have no idea what the hell I'm talking about, so I will go ahead and link the announcement video for this readathon down below, but this is a readathon that is held by Book Roast, and it is one of the most intricate, complex, ridiculous readathons I have ever seen, and I missed out on it last year. I only learned about it at the end of April, which is not helpful for a month-long readathon. So I decided that I was going to take part in it this year, and I was going to do it like properly because I tried to do the O.W.L.s Readathon in August and it was a big major failure. Again, you probably have no idea what I'm talking about. If you've not heard about this readathon, just go ahead and watch her videos. But I've decided I'm going to participate this year. Problem, of course, being the fact that I don't have a lot of freedom to read like a ton of stuff that has to stick like really closely to prompts this month because I have a lot of stuff going on, a lot of things that I need to read for other commitments. But I wanted to participate in this readathon because it looks like so much fun. So the way that this readathon is held, it's Harry Potter themed, in case you don't know, and it's basically your tests that you take in the wizarding world. So your owls are your ordinary wizarding levels, so you pick your books that you're going to read based on different subjects that you would learn at Hogwarts. And this year, to make things more complicated and therefore more awesome, she's gone ahead and created almost like wizarding careers guide. So you go ahead and pick the career that you would want if you were actually in the wizarding world, and you read your books based on the tests that you would need to take to achieve that career. So I originally wanted to do a Hogwarts professor, a Transfiguration professor, because all I want in my life is to be Professor McGonagall because she's awesome, but that was going to be like 7 books and I just didn't think I could commit to that, so I had a couple of other options. I could either be a librarian or a Magizoologist because I wanted to pick like subjects that I would actually want to study and careers that I would want to go into if I was actually in the wizarding world. So I ended up going with a Magizoologist, which is basically like a magical zoologist. I feel like that's fairly self-explanatory. So to become a Magizoologist, you need to do 4 subjects: care of magical creatures, charms, herbology, and potions. And then when we get to August and do the O.W.L.s Readathon, there's another set that you have to do for that. But right now, we're just going to focus on the owls. So I've gone ahead and I've picked my 4 books for my TBR, and I'm gonna maybe try to read along with some of the other prompts this month, but I don't really know how this is gonna go. So for now, I'm just gonna stick to these 4. I might also swap out some of these books because I'm feeling super indecisive right now, because that happens when I feel like I'm under pressure, but oh well. So the very first book that I'm going to read is for the care of magical creatures subject, and this prompt is a book with a land animal on the cover. And because she has said that dragons count as land animals, I'm going to go ahead and say that phoenixes count as land animals too, and I'm going to read Crown of Feathers by Nikki Pau-Prezzo. This is a young adult fantasy book that is coming out at the end of April, and I'm actually on the blog tour for this book, so I need to have this read by a certain date and have a review posted. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I want to fit this into the readathon in order to make sure that I actually go ahead and achieve this early. This book looks awesome. I think it's already out in the US, but it's coming in the UK at the end of this month, as I said, and I'm really excited for this. This is one of those books that like I saw and I immediately knew that this was a thing for me. So on the back here it says, "I am a daughter of death. From the ashes I rose, like a phoenix from the pyre. I had a sister once. I promised her the throne would not come between us, but it is a fact of life that one must kill or be killed, rule or be ruled. Sometimes the title of queen is given, and sometimes it must be taken away." This sounds great. This sounds awesome. I'm super excited for this one, and it's a little bit of a longer book. It's almost 500 pages, so I think this might be one of the first ones that I read, if not the first one. The next book that I have is for charms, and the prompt for charms is an adult book. So I went ahead and picked a book by an author whose event I'm going to go to in the middle of April. This is Do You Dream of Terra 2 by Temi O. This is an adult science fiction book, and it takes place on a ship that is on a mission to this planet called Terra 2 from Earth. And the crew is made up of a kind of diverse group. So it's a lot of young people, it's a lot of sort of veterans of the 20th century space race, and of course on this 23-year mission, if something goes wrong, they can't get help. and it sounds like something is going to possibly go wrong. I'm really excited. This sounds like my exact cup of tea. It's depressing sci-fi, it's shit-based sci-fi, and I'm like, yes, this looks awesome. It's also her debut novel, which makes me even more excited for it. This is probably going to, again, be one of the books that I read really early in this readathon, early on in the month, and I'm so looking forward to this. This is going to be amazing. The next book that I have is for herbology, and the prompt is a book with a plant on the cover, and this is the only one that I'm a little bit unsure of. I might swap this out for another, just depending on kind of how I'm feeling, because I will need to probably reread the first book in order to read this one. This is The Song of Sorrow by Melinda Salisbury. So this is the concluding book in the State of Sorrow duology. The State of Sorrow came out in 2018, I believe, and I really, really loved it. And I love Melinda Salisbury's writing, and I really enjoy her as a person. She's incredibly eloquent when she speaks about her writing, and she's very funny, and she's just great. So I'm really excited to read this, but again, I'll probably need to do a very rare reread of the first one, and I don't know if I got time for that, so I might end up swapping this out for something else, but we'll see. And the last subject that I have is potions, and the prompt for potions is the next ingredient, so a sequel. And I am very excited about this one. This one's gonna be really great. I'm going to read Wind Witch by Susan Dennard. I loved Truth Witch when I read it in March, and I'll post my March wrap up below so you can go ahead and see what I thought, but I'm really excited to continue on with this series. I feel like the first book wrapped up a lot of ends really nicely and was very satisfying, but of course it leaves everything open for a sequel, and I really want to finish this series because it's just so much fun. I loved it so unexpectedly. I feel like I missed all the hype for this series, and therefore I got to really form my own opinion. I think this is gonna be amazing. This is gonna be great. I know I'm gonna really enjoy this. It's probably gonna be one of the books that I read later on in the month. So you may have noticed that all of these books were in my March book haul. I'm trying to read down that book pile, extremely large and quite terrifying book pile, and I'm gonna try to get through some of the books that I've been acquiring recently. So hopefully you will actually hear my thoughts on these books in my April wrap-up. The nice thing about this readathon happening in April is that April seems to be the month of readathons because Tome Topple is happening, which is a readathon in which you read books that are 500 pages or longer. I am going to be running the Off the Grid readathon with my friend Shanna from Bionic Bookworm in the middle of this month, so that will happen on the 12th of April, and do a video about that and everything later on, but I'm going to be able to read a bunch of these books at that point too, and it's going to be a great reading month. So I'm thinking that this is going to be a super achievable TBR. I usually, when I do readathons, tend to pick everything. I want to read everything, and I always fizzle out. So this is going to be really achievable. I'm going to manage this. I'm going to read all of these books, and I'm going to read some other stuff as well. So we'll see how this goes, but I'm very, very excited to finally participate in the O.W.L.s Readathon. So in the comments below, let me know if you're doing this readathon and link me your TBRs because I would love to see them, but also let me know if you've read any of these books, if they're in your TBR, or if there's any other stuff that you're just really interested in reading in the month of April. I post bookish content to this channel fairly frequently, so go ahead and hit subscribe, check back soon, and I will see you next time.